Well, let's wrap this trilogy up. To recap, Uncharted 1, really good. Uncharted 2, awesome. And Uncharted 3, well, let's find out.
Okay, so the game begins a little differently than Uncharted 2. We don't really get a cliffhanger opening, but that's okay because the trailer did a pretty good job at that. Instead, it begins with Nathan and Sully waltzing into a bar. Heh, yeah, I'll bet you'll never guess where this is going. Oh, that was so unexpected. So after that, we take control of... Was that teenage Nate? Oh, well, that actually was unexpected. Props. There's even a pretty entertaining bad guy, which Uncharted 1 really lacked, and Uncharted 2 could have done better. On the other hand...
The ring.
What ring?
Ha ha, looks like I got one over you. Ow, you bitch! Meet Catherine Marlowe, who spends her spare time eating kittens and burning down daycare centers. Okay, if you're looking for a consensus with the story, it's fantastic. You actually really begin to understand Nate, and therefore really connect with him. And hey, Sully's in this game. And by that I mean, the whole game. Well, he has a few moments of absence, but he's there at the beginning bar fight, the flashback, all the main locations with one exception, and even the climax. Those who've played the Uncharted games, yeah, this is a change. Uncharted 1 had Sully drop out for about a third of the game, and then made him completely irrelevant for another third of it. It got ridiculous with Uncharted 2. He was literally there for a half an hour, and the final cutscene. So, this is really appreciated, because Sully's a cool guy. Voice acting, well, you know, it's Uncharted, i.e. some of the best you've ever heard in a video game. You know, the usual. The game's also much more cinematic than its predecessor. For example, Nate jumping onto the train in Uncharted 2 was a cutscene. In this game, though, Nate jumping onto the plane was actual gameplay. That alone should be a pretty decent indicator about how much more interactive this game is. Sorry. Better models, music's great once again. Bottom line, Naughty Dog is one of the head honchos in the industry for great presentation, and it certainly shows. My only minor gripe is with the animation. What do I mean? Well, put it to you this way, Naughty Dog has tried to do something that's never really been done before to my knowledge. What do I mean? Well, when you're near a wall, Drake will brush it with his hand. He'll appear more off balance at times, little things like that. And, you know, Naughty Dog has a pretty good reputation of leading the way in stuff like this, but it really doesn't work all that great. Drake will be about a yard away from the wall and still steady himself, not even touching the wall. He'll look like he's about to trip over his own feet for no reason a lot, and it's kinda off-putting. Granted, you'll adapt, and I do applaud Naughty Dog for trying something like this, but it needs work. By now, we have a pretty good idea of what to expect from Uncharted. Climbing sections, puzzles, and shooting. Again, let's tackle them individually. Climbing sections. Pretty much the same as before. There's very little to mention. I found the climbing enjoyable in the past, and this is no exception. It's oftentimes intense, fast-paced, and just a ton of fun. Puzzles. Well, a lot better actually. I think Naughty Dog really nailed it in this game. They're simpler, but they often involve more brainpower than just copy the picture on the notebook like in Uncharted 2. There's also more of them. Many more, but it's not a project just to complete one like in Uncharted 2. The difficulty also varies. Some are a breeze, and some are, what's the answer? Put simply, the puzzles are the best we've seen from Naughty Dog so far, so nice job.
And finally, the shooting. So, for the third time, let's ask that million-dollar question. Does the shooting get repetitive?
Well, it really doesn't, to be honest. I'm surprised I'm saying this, but Naughty Dog knocked it out of the park. Why? Well, it's hard to denote exactly why, but I'll do my best. First, you don't even start shooting people until the 5th chapter. I mean, geez, I thought Uncharted 2 took its time, but it's a good 40 minutes before the guns are even passed out, let alone being used in an actual gunfight. Not to mention that there are a ton of stealth areas. It's never mandatory, but I was always compelled to try to be as stealthy as possible. That's mostly because stealth seemed feasible in this game. In Uncharted 2, I don't think it was ever possible to take out everyone. Maybe on a few occasions, but I never had such luck. But in this game, it always seemed like if I was careful, I could get everybody without even being seen. Plus, we have some new fun takedowns.
Jack from above.
What the? Huh? Hi, can you give me a second? Next, well, the best way I can put it is that Uncharted 3 really doesn't screw around. You'll always seem to be in a location for exactly the right amount of time before you get whisked away to some other sweet locale. Uncharted 2 didn't do this as successfully, and rarely do 2 chapters go by without some curveball being thrown, with my favorite being the ship graveyard. The set pieces steal the show. The burning chateau, those awesome chase scenes, the capsized cruise ship, the horseback assault, and, of course, the plane level, or, as I've affectionately renamed it, Die! Also, you know how the climbing was integrated in Uncharted 2 for hanging from street signs? Yeah, it was cute. I could go on and on about the shooting and how, well, it never really got repetitive. But the bottom line is this. The campaign is amazing. The pacing is honest to God perfectly done, and there was never a dull moment. It's about 9 hours, which is shorter than Uncharted 2, but longer than Uncharted 1. And, well, I'm certainly coming back to this on hard mode when I get a chance. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm planning on digging out the entire trilogy for that. Played in smaller doses, I can see myself having a lot more fun with the original Uncharted. But back to Uncharted 3, there's more to this game than just the sublime campaign. It's time to touch on the multiplayer. There was multiplayer in Uncharted 2. I wasn't able to get a game though, so... Luckily, from what I can tell, this game has a very substantial community, and deservedly so, because I really enjoyed the multiplayer. There's competitive and co-op. Competitive, at its core, is nothing entirely new. For me, at its best, it's...
Wow, I'm doing great. I'm like a regular Rambo. Oh, double kill with a rocket launcher.
But at its worst, it's...
Oh my god, how am I supposed to see these guys coming? What the hell? I was shooting at him.
So I'm not entirely sure why I keep coming back to the multiplayer when half of the time I leave the session in a bad mood. But I do. And when I do well, I really enjoy it. When I don't, I'm not a very good sport when my opponents can't hear me. There are 2 reasons I'd say the competitive stuff is worth checking out, even when compared to the industry titans, namely Call of Duty and Halo. First, gotta love that you still get to platform your way around the levels, especially in High Rise, my personal favorite map. Not to mention, using the glorious ledge takedown on real people is something that I recommend that everybody put on their bucket list. Secondly, the maps. You have your sandstorms, your bottomless drops, your 2 moving trains, your moving cargo plane being chased by several trucks. Holy shit.
This is the greatest map ever conceived in the history of online multiplayer. There's no way this experience can be brought down now.
Probably departing in.
That's just teasing us. Why, Naughty Dog? That was epic. Same thing with the train level too. Don't do that.
Just patch it, Naughty Dog. That's all I ask. Co-op's also another awesome feature. I personally like Horde mode the most. Nothing like a good dose of teamwork, right? Even if we kept stealing each other's kills. Bottom line, I'll keep playing the multiplayer. And thus I can say that even at $60, Uncharted 3 is absolutely worth the price of admission. But I got it for $37, ha 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 ha. Anyway, however, with all this praise in the air, a few issues must be brought to light. My biggest gripe is with the hand-to-hand combat. Uncharted 1's combat worked as long as you didn't go for the brutal combo. Uncharted 2 improved it, and Uncharted 3 sort of does the same, but they made one huge mistake that makes it a huge downgrade. You see, now the combat system is devised of 3 buttons: square, triangle, and the newcomer, circle. Circle is also your evade button. So when I get into a fisticuff in the middle of a gunfight, my first instinctual reaction was to get out of the way of incoming fire, a la evading. Instead, I'd push my opponents, which isn't even a necessary attack to have. It just keeps you out of the open long enough for you to cheaply die. I was also going to complain about those really big henchmen that each took 7 months to take down, but come the level, I got my revenge. Ha! Have a nice flight! That might have been a bad idea. Next, well, put it to you this way. Each Uncharted game has gotten progressively better, but in 2 specific categories, it's gotten worse over each game. I'm talking about loading times and AI. Now, loading times aren't that bad. You'll only really face them when you load the campaign or multiplayer. And, well, listen to that, guys. You can listen to the Uncharted theme, which is never a bad thing. But with the AI, look at this brainiac. Enough said. Not that it hinders the experience much, but it's noticeable. But even with these minor annoyances, I loved this game. It's an incredible action game that I have to recommend to every PS3 owner. The story is awesome, the graphics are mind-blowing yet again, the shooting is a blast now, with the repetition being a mere memory. The puzzles top the other 2 games hands down, and you just need to take one look at the convoy assault or the level to realize that the set pieces are some of the best in gaming. Not to mention that the multiplayer kicks ass. In terms of straight-up action games, it doesn't get much better than this. It receives a 9.5 out of 10. Don't pass it up, because, you know what? This was almost a 10 out of 10. Not kidding, guys.
Roadkill.
Alright, we all know what next up. Batman Arkham City. And it looks like Rocksteady is a bit of competition this time around, so let's see what they can do.
Holy crap! I survived the level! I'll live forever! I'm king of the world! I'm invincible!
Will Nathan Drake survive this trot through the desert, or will he die of thirst? Come back in to find out. Who cares? He's obviously gonna live. We have like a 1/5 of the game left.